fourth Yama, Brahmacharya. So Brahmacharya actually is the Kundalini energy. It's the sexual energy that happens in our body. And it speaks to us because we're all energy, and it rises from the bottom up so that you feel that energy coming up. And it happens when we are in a sexual situation, right? You can feel it coming all the way up, and it ends up all the way. We don't even realize it, but it ends up coming through the back of our head. So it goes through what is called the Nadis channel. If you read the book, it goes through the Nadis channel. Okay? So what happens is that this is your life force. This is your life force. So what it tells us is that this life force has powerful manifesting energies, and that we use it very carefully and very cautiously. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but with Kundalini Yoga, it's about raising that. It's also, we also have Tantra Yoga, and it's about tapping into that energy. And that energy, when you know how to tap into that quote-unquote sexual energy, which and I say sexual energy in quotes because it's not necessarily always in that situation, but as humans, we identify with that feelingness when we are in that sexual space. So that's why it's called sexual energy. But when we actually have that energy, and we take that energy outside of a relationship and use it and apply it in, say, a business, or we use it and apply it in an outer form, in a platonic relationship, what happens is magnificence. Magnificence happens. And part of what, if you were a 12-year-old boy a long time ago studying yoga, part of what it was, the study, was to actually be able to manifest this energy and be able to control it, to use it, to become very successful in business, right? Because again, I remind you, who was yoga created for? The wealthy and the 12-year-old boys, right? So they would take them right before that manifestation of the sexual energy and teach them how to use that energy and focus it into, say, the different, businesses, investments, all of the things that we now call residual income opportunities. It's now, if you're rich, you have a portfolio. If you don't know what a portfolio is, it's probably because you don't have one. And so that's important to know. And what is a portfolio? A portfolio is something in business that will give you residual income. Do you understand what residual income is? Does anybody understand what residual income is? Residual income means that the income keeps coming in for that first effort. So that first effort, let's say, for instance, me. When I was in college, I had the opportunity to actually do some commercials. Every time one of those commercials is on the air, even in this late age, I get money. That's residual income. That's still receiving money based on my initial efforts. Right now you see it, and you see it in a form that's called multi-level marketing, network marketing as a business form. What happens is that's a beautiful way to create residual income, because for that initial for that initial investment that you did, let's say you're selling a product or whatever, a service, for that initial investment, that person's going to continue to buy it if they like it over and over and over and over for many years. So you don't have to go back and sell it to them again. They just keep buying it. That's residual income. That's what it's called when you get seduced now, when the energy is actually being used to attract you. You get seduced into it when somebody says, hey, you can earn this much money doing this. It seduces you because what do we want most? Money. And what do we want most even yet? Is money to come when we don't do anything, right? Easy money. So people know that, so they play on that. Right? They play on that. So let me give you an example, a real world example that happened to my nephew. As you guys know, I want to make sure you understand this. I am also a network marketing professional. There's a difference between an amateur and a professional. I am a professional, okay? There is difference because I am consistently creating an income that is more than people could imagine. But I'm also careful that when I draw somebody in, I don't say this is a get-rich-quick scheme. I say this is a business, and you have to work it as such. It will pay you as a business pays you. Very different, okay? So I get a phone call from my nephew. It's on a Friday night, and it's about 8 o'clock in the evening. And he says, yeah, my dad wants to talk to you. And I can hear in the background like a party going on, right? And my brother is really pissed. I can tell my brother is really pissed because when he's really pissed, all the Spanish comes out, right? So he's going into this and he says, I'm here with your nephew. I love how they use me, right? I'm here with your nephew, and your nephew thinks that if he gives this person $500, that within less than 3 months he'll be making like $100 grand. I said, really? Sign me up. Sign me up. Who's there? And he goes, don't kid with me. He goes, this is serious. He goes, you got to talk to your son. You got to talk to your nephew. This is not true. And I go, okay. I said, okay. I said, what are they asking? And I went through the list, and I said, are they saying this, this, and that? And I said, yes. And he said, yes. And I said, get out of there. Get out of there. I said, what's the majority? So what was happening was this person, this young man, enticed everybody else on the football team, the high school football team, to go to this presentation. And he had all these people drive up in Mercedes-Benz and all this stuff, So, and what happens? They were using the Kundalini energy. They were using the life force to seduce the young kids into dropping $500. This company now, after my brother called me, this company now has been on. And it is, by the way, it is not on the New York Stock Exchange. The only way you know if it is a viable business, and this is FYI to you, is if it is on the stock exchange. Because when some business is on the stock exchange, it is viable. That means it is transparent. Everything it does has to be put out into the public. This company, to this day, which this was about 4 years ago, is not on the stock exchange. But this company is still out there seducing young children. And I say children because you guys are children to me, right? But so what happens is all of these kids forked out $500. And then they were given a whole bunch of stuff and said, you got to sell it.